Welcome to my podcast, Today's Dream, Tomorrow's Reality. My name is Vickie Poole, and I'm a master transformational coach and hypnotist specializing in habit change. And this podcast is sponsored by the Enlightened Peach. And it's all about embracing our mosaic life. Now, some of you may ask, what is a mosaic life anyway? Well, it is recognizing that all the pieces of our life, all the little bitty pieces, the good, the bad, the indifferent, have all come together to make us who we are. You change any one thing, and we are different. With that in mind, I invite you to embrace your perceived imperfections and celebrate who you are. This podcast is unedited and raw, just like life. And I am your host, and I have a special guest with me that I'm going to introduce in just a moment. But before I do, I would love to ask a favor of you, and that's to leave a comment and also to remember to like, subscribe, and definitely share. The more sharing you do, the more we can get these fabulous guests and their message out in the world. All right. So now let's get started. So this gentleman here is Kristen Larson, and we don't know each other at all. And that's beautiful. I love getting to know my guest on screen so that I get surprised and amazed with everybody. But we connected because we both went to the same school, a Health Coach Institute. And he had the same path as I did. He did the health coaching and then went into the master transformational coaching. And it was a brilliant, brilliant ride. I loved every moment of it. Even those skills labs that I was crying, snot rolling down my face, and really getting into the thick of things. But it was amazing. So, Kristen, first off, I'd like to ask you to just kind of introduce yourself just a little bit and then tell me what had you wanting to get on my podcast. So, take it away.
Yeah, thank you so much, Vickie, for this opportunity to connect and share about my journey and about myself. My name is Kristen Larson, and I refer to myself as a transformational soul coach. And what that means is, as you mentioned about the journey of health coaching and transformational coaching, I really do incorporate aspects of those in my soul coaching. But really, it's about helping people to connect to their authentic self, and that means um, releasing those limiting beliefs that they're holding on to and discovering their deeper values and that purpose and uh, just creating a meaningful and aligned life.
Beautiful, beautiful. So what had you I don't even remember if I reached out to you or if you reached out to me. But what made you say yes that you wanted to be on this podcast? Do you
Yeah, so I
remember?
believe, yes, I do actually. So it was through brief interactions with each other, and I believe it was through wishing you a happy birthday. And
That's it, because you've wished me a bunch of happy birthdays, right?
yeah.
Yes.
And as a transformational soul coach, I appreciate joy, and that was the
Yeah.
purpose of sending that message was to share joy. And you extended the invitation to me to be a guest on
Yeah.
your podcast, and I was very excited to be a guest here.
Yeah. See, I couldn't even remember that. So, kudos for you telling me because I tell you, sometimes the things I don't remember are profound, but that's okay. That's okay, right? So, where are you located in the world?
I live in Ontario, Canada,
Okay.
and it's a little town called Angus, which is a population under 10,000 people.
Oh, wow. Wow. So, I'm assuming you do a lot of your work online, correct?
That's correct, yes.
Yeah, yes. As do I. It's funny because before COVID, I just did them in-house all the time. I had them come to my in my office in my home, and once COVID happened, it was like, now how do I do this? Because I was doing a lot of hypnosis work, and as a trained hypnotist, you were touching people and stuff. Do when I touch your hand, you'll fall asleep and that kind of stuff. So it was like I went through this stage of, well, how do I make this happen? And so when I really started playing with it, it was like, this is amazing that you can connect with people online. I can get them through hypnosis. I can do the transformational coaching, and it almost made it easier in some ways because people didn't have, sometimes in person they have up a little bit more of a guard for some reason. Do you find that?
Yes, I do. And in regards to coaching online as well, some people prefer just to have the cameras off at
Mm-hmm.
that comfort level as well. And as you mentioned, I believe feeling safe is a big part of that, especially when you're coaching someone on a deeper level as well.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And some of the coaching that we learned, and I'm sure you've done other coaching classes and courses since then. Most of us do. It's like that shiny object syndrome. Oh, that's interesting. That'll help me. That'll help somebody. And you just start just bringing in all of these certifications, right? But the going through HCI, Health Coach Institute, and all the different parts of that they had, there was so many times that I was so deep into the transformation. And like I said, the crying and the snot running and, just, but the afterwards, it was like, oh my gosh, it was like this bright lifting out of your body experience, And so I think people that have never experienced coaching at that level, because it's not just like somebody sits down and says, okay, what's wrong? And then you say, oh, well, I can't sleep. And you say, okay. And then you give them some stuff to sleep. It's not, it's so much deeper than that. And I would love for everybody that's listening or watching to contact either one of us and say, I want a demonstration. I want to know what you're talking about because it's some deep work. And the things that we've learned, there's NLP, EFT, there's, so many pieces that are in there that help us to help people transform. And so, like I said, anybody that has not experienced that for themselves, definitely reach out. And I will have in the description, I will have how to reach out to you and how to reach out to me and reach out to one of us and then get this experience for yourself because it is life changing. So I would love to ask you, Kristen, what got you started in being interested in being a coach?
Yeah, so I was going through my own personal journey of self-discovery, trying to figure out what I wanted to do in life, and that was one of my stories in my journey
Hmm.
was trying to figure out what my interests were and kind of what I want to do in life. And I took a job.
How old were you when you started that questioning?
I was around 21.
Okay. All right.
And it was that time where you finish high school and you're trying to figure out what your future is, what you want to do as a career. And I took a job that I didn't really like, and um, I worked at that job. And through that job, I was continually looking at ways that I could determine what that direction was, and it it kind of led me down a path of my own learning.
Mm-hmm.
So before I got to coaching, what I got to learn was self-compassion, presence, and gratitude. Those are the things that I needed to learn. I struggled a lot with mental health, such as depression, anxiety. So going through that helped me to see the gift of coaching and kind of how my skills and talents can align with that.
Mm-hmm.
So that was in my late 30s that I
Okay.
came to that.
All right. So when you were really little, what did you want to be when you grew up?
I'm gonna say that I really didn't know.
Ah,
I
I
I
thought you were
was
going to say
at,
superhero. I just knew it was coming.
I was asked that, and I didn't have an answer. Like, I love playing with toys, so I would have said a toy tester or just someone that's able to just play outside.
Yeah.
And I really didn't have an answer.
Okay. Okay. Pretty cool. I'll just just a quick side note. I used to have a friend, and her son said he wanted to be a garbage man. She said, "Why do you want to be a garbage man?" He said, "Because they only work 2 days a week." So, anyway, kids' mentality, right?
Yes, yeah.
I wanted to be a writer and an artist. And I do write. I have a book out and I do dabble in the art and stuff, but that's not what I do as a profession. But I kind of feel like you and I, being coaches, we are artists in a certain way because we have to creatively move people through things in their life. And it becomes such a almost this intuitive skill that you learn. And so when you talk to someone, it's like it just comes up and it's like, oh, I know exactly what they need. And it just feels so good to be able to help people with things that they don't even realize is holding them back. You
Mhm.
agree with that?
I do, and I really like that analogy with being an artist and inserting that creativity in the coaching because each coach is different, and
Mm-hmm.
we have our own personalities of how we coach and how we support people in that coaching experience. So I believe it's really important because there's certain skills such as the listening that are so important in the coaching, but it's how we, like you said, reflect back and also give someone that space so that they can see those limiting beliefs or different perspectives or perceptions that they have.
Yeah. So I would love to know if you, of course, you can't divulge people's names and particulars and stuff, but what is one of your biggest aha, greatest stories, greatest transformations, whatever it is from your clients that you've had that you would be able to share so we can see and hear how amazing it is?
Yeah, so I believe that the way how I support people and work with people is definitely on a very deep level, and it involves like being able to recognize beliefs that no longer serve, that are outdated, and working with someone in the aspect of transformation. So shifting from one way that they've been living into another way that they want to be living, and it's not always an easy thing to do because it involves changing habits, it involves shifting your mindset, perceptions, and those beliefs, and also really living intentionally into that new way that they
Hmm.
want. So I would say that one of the biggest success stories that I had was a client that they were working towards success, and they've achieved success, but they wanted to really enjoy what they were doing. So it was no longer about the external success. It was about having joy and living in that, and shaping what success means to them in their own way, as
Hmm.
opposed to just the outcomes and results. So they were able to um, change how they were showing up in their life, and not look at when we talk about burnout, not overextending themselves, not people pleasing, having confidence in who they are and ultimately what they offer and how they serve people.
All right, beautiful. So what did that person, I know they made all these changes. So, how was their experience afterwards with these new things going on in them?
Yeah, so it really changed their whole energy and their outlook on doing more work or thinking that they needed to overexert themselves. So they really took time to rest, to
Mm,
incorporate play in their life, to incorporate presence. So not thinking too much about the future and kind of living in this present moment and really appreciating that with gratitude. So their energy just changed. Uh, you could almost feel the aura that they gave off. Um, and then also with the habits that they formed, So there's a lot of appreciation, gratitude for things that they didn't see or they didn't acknowledge before.
Yeah. So I bet it made a difference in their family life too, I would assume.
Absolutely, yeah. It was
Yeah.
a trickle effect
Yeah.
that went into other areas of their life as well. And one way that I really work with people is in regards to self-compassion. So they were also able to embrace that in their own life, which really helped help themselves as well.
Yeah. Yeah. And I'm sure from some of the things you said, they suddenly had very strong boundaries.
Yes, absolutely. And that was thank you for saying that. That's something else that was very important to establish boundaries that coincided with what they really value in their life.
Yeah. Because I would think, from I don't think there's a person that I've worked with um, in quite a while that hasn't had this big gap between who they want to be and who they're being because of those boundaries that they're just not holding strong. And it just plays out in so many crazy ways in their life. And once they can kind of get a cap on those boundaries and knowing where they want to go in their life and how they want to feel, man, it's just like you said, they're lighter, they're brighter. It's like they've lifted out of this deep fog that they've been in.
Yeah, and when you say that, what comes to me is that part of the reason why, part of it is awareness, but the other part of why they haven't established those boundaries is some of those beliefs that they're holding on to that are preventing them from doing that. So something I mentioned before was about people pleasing and not being able to say no. I
Yeah.
think that's a big one, especially with when we talk about boundaries.
Yeah, yeah. One of the hardest ones to say no to is your family and really close friends, because a lot of times it's like people are almost catering to the other person to an extent that if I hold on to my boundaries, they're not going to like me
Mhm.
anymore. But it's the opposite. People, the ones that don't, you really weren't your friends anyway. But the ones that are good, they're going to just stay in your life because they're going to have much more respect and they're going to honor those boundaries. And that's a good way to tell who's truthful and really there because they want to be with you and not there to use you. That's just how I look at it.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And I think the other important thing is the the integrity behind that. So when
Hmm.
being integrity and honoring those in themselves, it creates that connected alignment within themselves.
Yeah, beautiful. So, um, how do you generally get clients now? Do people just reach out from referrals? Do you have a program out? Do you have something out that people can connect with you?
Yeah, so right now it's generally referrals,
Hmm.
and I do a lot of promotion or putting myself out there on social media. And
What's your favorite one?
I like Facebook and Instagram.
Yeah.
I'm actually on LinkedIn as well, and I'm really enjoying that as well. But at the same time, I only have so much time, and I can't be everywhere. But I do enjoy using those three platforms.
Yeah. Well, just a little side note too. I've been really diving into learning more about AI. And there's a course that I just took over the weekend that was amazing. And I'm learning how to do some automation. So you can create your own emails and you can automate them to go into the different places so that you don't have to be that person with all the hats and stuff. So I'm telling you, it's a game changer to learn some of that stuff. So I'm blown away. I'm not an expert at it by any means, but I am learning. And you're probably like me. I want to learn so much about everything that sometimes I have to kind of get the rope and pull me back over here and say, stop right now, do this, because I can get scattered into so many different places. But man, oh man, it's so fun to learn.
Yes, absolutely. And thank you for sharing that. I'm appreciating that learning that you're that you're investing in.
Yeah.
I will say I do have a program called Leading from Within, and
Okay.
that has to do with many things that we're talking about, and really connecting with oneself and accessing their inner leadership, and um, just showing up as the person that they want to be.
So, it's called what again?
Leading from within.
Leading from within. Okay. So who is your typical person that is looking for that so that if somebody that's watching or listening, they can say, "Oh, that is me."
Yeah, there's usually three people that are gravitate towards wanting to work with me, and they're
Mm-hmm.
usually one of them's the purpose-seeking entrepreneur, and
Mm-hmm.
that's someone that usually feels successful on the outside, but uh,
Not on the inside.
unfulfilled on the inside. Yeah,
Yeah.
and they want alignment. The
Yeah.
second one's the awakening seeker, and they're the one that are kind of going through this transition period in their life. I might call it even a transformation time, and they're looking for spiritual growth to assist with going through that period.
hmm So let me ask you a question real quick. So when you're talking about that person, so is that somebody that is as simple as someone who's suddenly an empty nester, or what is it that spiritual seeker, or what is it that who are they?
It's almost someone that could be going through, when I say awakening,
Okay.
they're going through this big time in their life where they're unsure of the direction that they're going, or they're really seeking clarity. And um, it could be what you just said about the empty nester. It could be, yeah, someone where this big moment is happening in their life, and they're needing to move through the process of going through that time.
Okay. Sorry I interrupted, but I was just curious about that. So go on. What's the next one?
Yeah, no, thank you very much. The next one is the conscious leader and change maker, and that's someone that has some knowledge about spirituality, or even, connecting with themselves, but they're looking at uh, establishing the habits to be able to nourish themselves and sustain their own growth while they're assisting other people or serving other people.
So that's primarily for someone who might be a coach or something that is feeling like they're helping everybody and not taking care of themselves. Am I understanding that correctly?
That would be correct. Yeah, coach,
Okay.
healer, yeah.
Okay, cool. Well, it's like everybody needs a coach, everybody. And so I just want to remind people that, it's like some of the greatest athletes out there, they could just rest on their laurels and just keep playing if they wanted to. But if they want to be the best and they want to feel the best, they have a coach. And a lot of times, several different coaches, depending on the different things that they need help with. So I think it's very um, it's amazing right now to think because there are so many different types of coaches, and you might need more than one, but you start with one because what I like to say is that what a coach does, it's almost like they're in a drone and they're above your life and they have this aerial view of what's going on. And they can see, whoa, if you take a right, the bridge is out up front and you're going to have a really tough time. So I'm going to redirect you over here where the journey is a little bit easier, but you're still going to learn the things you need to learn without falling into the abyss, right? Um, so we can do so much on our own, but what the coach is that aerial view of your life and being able to help direct you on a path that makes things beautiful and easier, not easy, but easier than you could have been on the path on your own.
Yeah, and I appreciate that analogy. I find that there's definitely, as a coach, not all coaches, but I find that when I'm helping someone, they really feel empowered throughout the session. At the end of the session, they have clarity and they have connection. And if I may share a coaching course that I took last year,
Yes,
it was
please share.
it was a deep coaching course, and
Uh-huh.
it was similar to transformational coaching, except that it was all about that when holding a space, and when I say space, it's like this container where you're partnering with someone and you're helping them to access their inner knowing, their higher self, and it's a very empowering session, and that's kind of how I incorporate that into my coaching as well.
Okay, so what was the name of the course?
It's called deep coaching.
Deep coaching. Okay. All right.
Yeah.
So how long was it? I'm just curious.
It was a 6 month course,
Okay.
and it incorporated weekly sessions as a community cohort, and then as well practicing the different learnings throughout the course.
So kind of like with HCI, where you had the skills labs and everything, all that stuff. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've taken a lot of different coaching as well, and it was like I got into it because I was getting fatter by the day, and I finally got to a place where I said I've either got to make peace with being fat or I got to do something about it. I can't do this anymore. So it was like, which way do I want to go? I guess I better figure out something to do about it, right? And that's how I got started with HCI. And so I'm so grateful because that changed my life. Because at first I was just going to hire a coach. And I thought, I know me. It's easy to walk away from that, especially if they're not charging enough money, right? And so I thought, well, maybe I'll check into how much it costs to become a coach. And so when I looked into it, I thought, well, it's a little pricey. Takes a little while, and you have a whole bunch of stuff you have to do. That one's for me. I got to do that because I know I'll stick to it. And so I think as people, we kind of, even though we may not want to, but I think we know ourselves very well to know, like I knew if I hired a coach, I would probably get a couple of months in and I'd say, this is too hard. And then I would just not show up. And knowing that about myself, I knew how to get around that. But one of the beautiful things I think as us as coaches, we can see that in people too.
Mhm.
And so we can actually kind of pull them in a little bit and say, hey, this is what's about to happen. I can feel it. And I want to encourage you not to step away. I want to encourage you to just embrace this and let's work through it. And without that coaching that we have been trained to do, a lot of people will completely walk away from making the transformation because what really happens is when you start making transformation, all hell breaks loose. It's like, let me test you and see, do you really want to do this? Let me see if I can make you really miserable for a moment so you can say, how much do you want to do this? That's why we start with what's your why, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I don't know, did you experience some of that going into that? Because you were getting into this for a different reason than what I was. So did you experience that too?
Yeah, I did. Yeah. My reason was, it's something that I thought I could be good at because it aligned with my skills and abilities. But at the same time, it was almost like um, a growth process for me and healing process for me. And I think it's very important as coaches to walk the walk. So, meaning, like you shared, uh, going through those different sessions of the coaching ourselves to experience it,
Oh
because
yeah.
we're only capable of being with a client as far as we're willing to go ourselves.
Right. Yeah, I love that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's funny because when I first started with Health Coach Institute, I really didn't think I'd ever be a coach. I just figured that was going to help me. And part of the way through, I thought, if this changes me, I gotta share this. That's all it is, you know. Um, I would be a really bad person, I felt like, if I got all these changes and learned all these things and then I didn't share it with anybody and help
Mhm.
somebody else, you know. Is it Jim Rohn, one of them, and says that your success lies in how many people that you help. and how you help people travel through life. That I think it's Jim Rohn, and I'm sure I really flubbed up the quote, but anyway, you get the gist, right?
Yeah, no, and I think that's very important. And I think something that you mentioned as well that's important to stress is that um, as coaches, we're really challenging someone to step into their inner power and to be able to embrace the challenge that they're struggling with or that they want to overcome because they have it within themselves. It's just them shifting to seeing a possibility, shifting focus, and just committing to taking action or taking a step to do that.
Yeah. So do you do your coaching? Do you do all of it one-on-one, or is there group coaching? How do you do yours?
Yeah, right now it is one-on-one. I feel
Hmm.
like group coaching, because of the different courses that I've taken, I really, and I don't know if you found this as well, but I find that dynamic of being in a group very powerful and being able to just be in that experience with other people because it's pretty powerful when you know that you're not alone in that experience and being able to share and express yourself and that voice of expressing yourself is very empowering.
Yeah. Well, to me, one of the strangest things, but it's still very normal, is that when you get into a group coaching container as a participant, it feels like everybody is just like you know? And the interesting thing is that there's somebody else taking a group coaching program over there that feels that same way, but it's different people. And so somehow God, the universe just says, "Okay, this is who you are when you're wanting group coaching. This is the pod you go into." And it's like you can by seeing those people and seeing them make transformation, seeing them go through these crazy places where they have this epiphany or they just feel in despair and then suddenly they're not. It's like it just opens everything up for you. Whereas when you do one-on-one, which I love one-on-one coaching too, but one on one, you're just there and your stuff's your stuff. But when you see that everybody's having stuff, and sometimes hearing their stuff helps you realize, oh, I've got stuff over here that I didn't even know I had. I mean, just group coaching is such a godsend with helping people to elevate out of things and the getting to know the people. I've been to retreats and in coaching things where I didn't know a soul, but afterwards I had friends that I've had a long time and it's like you never would have met them otherwise. So it's just amazing to me.
Yeah, those are some great points, and I feel like whenever you're in group coaching, whatever group you're in, it feels like you were just meant to be in
Yeah,
that
yeah,
that group.
yeah. It was like it wasn't like you were just picked up and tossed into a thing. It's like you were gathered
Yes,
together.
yeah,
So I love that. All right, so we're getting close to time. So what I want to ask is, you mentioned something that you're doing already, a program that you're doing with people, right? And it's one-on-one. Um, and I'd love for you to just kind of share a little bit more about that. If it's something that you have like, I know it's one-on-one, so you probably don't have like a start and stop date, but how long is the program? Just share a little bit about that, and then maybe, where they can find you on social media, although it will be in the show notes and the description, but somebody that's not looking at the show notes might want to just say, "Ooh," get their phone out and just say, "Okay, find him on Instagram." And so just share a little bit and let everybody know.
yeah, sure. So the program that I mentioned, Leading from Within, it depends on the person and what their comfort level is because it's a lot of deep coaching, and sometimes it's challenging to integrate after a coaching session. What's been some insights or these self discoveries. So it could be every other week, which would make it 6 months. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
and if the person is comfortable, then it could be weekly, which would make it 3 months.
Okay.
But typically, it is a 6 month course, which would be every other week.
Mm-hmm.
That's to make sure that the person is able to process and integrate what is being um, discovered in these coaching sessions.
So does that mean you have a session 1 week and then you have an off week to
Yes,
where you
correct.
can integrate? So what happens during that integration week? Do they have an opportunity to reach out? What goes on with that? Or is that just when they do work on themselves?
No, that's a great question. So I do follow up in between
Mm-hmm.
those weeks. Usually, if the person depends what kind of support they want, I offer like journal prompts from the coaching sessions, so that can help someone to get clarity and kind of process what they're experiencing. There's also resources, so resources to help support them throughout the program after each session as well.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and in the sessions, it's kind of an outline of where someone wants to, where they're starting from, where they want to be at the end.
Mm-hmm.
So it's supporting them on that path, but it's really unfolding on their own agenda. So
Okay.
I try and step away from my agenda because they're in a different place and
Right. Right.
they're covering their own things. And it seems like they all arrive at where they want to be, but how they get there is different.
Right. Beautiful. Beautiful. Okay. So where on social media will they find you?
So I do have a website. I
Okay.
will be creating another website soon, which I might get into if we have a moment. But the website's called kristensvenlarson.com. So people can learn more about me or reach out to connect with me there. I'm also on social media on Facebook, Instagram, and LinkedIn. And I believe my handles are Kristen Sven Larson on those as well.
Okay. All right.
And I was going to mention, I also in January created something called Soul University.
Okay.
And it does incorporate my coaching into that as support. But everything that we've been discussing, how I support people, I've created something that's kind of greater than myself. It's almost like a learning resource network to help people to come back to presence, connection, and grow and heal, and to support them on that transformational journey as well, and to live into their true self.
So how does that unfold?
So that unfolds through I will be offering workshops, through challenges, um, and of course coaching as well. I envision it expanding into programs, and it's basically international. So it would be other people involved in this as well. It could be other coaches or other types of healers or teachers that are able to support people as well.
Okay. That sounds pretty cool. Yeah. So when is that going to be rolling out?
So I launched that in January of this year,
Okay.
2020. It's in the first year right now. So the one thing that I committed to was, to have goals, but not to put the pressure on myself to force how fast it unfolds, because the vision is going in its own direction, in its own way. So I want to enjoy the process.
Okay. That sounds pretty cool. Well, I am excited to have met you. And thank you for all those birthday wishes all those years because I've looked back and that's why I messaged you because I remember now it's like, how many years has he's been sending me a birthday wish every year and I don't even know who this person is. So that's why I reached out because that was pretty impressive to me. Um, because a lot of times if you don't interact, people just stop. And I don't remember if I ever said thank you or not thank you. I have no idea, but I was quite impressed with that. And so I wanted to say thank you for reminding me that's how we connected. And I want to let you know how much I appreciate that because I don't know, it just made me, it's like somebody does that and it's like, oh, you know? that feels good. And then you just go on about your day, but then it just keeps happening. And at one point, it's like, well, I got to do something about this. So thank you.
Yeah, you're welcome. And one of the highest values that I have is connection. So I really honor and appreciate that connection and you extending this opportunity to me to connect with you and your listeners and viewers.
Ah, beautiful. Well, thank you. And so I'll be closing up in just a minute. So, really quick, is there some seed of knowledge that you want to impart with everyone before we go?
That's a great question. I would say to take a moment and to appreciate yourself for the steps that you're taking, how you're showing up in your life, and just to have gratitude for this moment.
Beautiful. And I'll end with my favorite quote. The best way to predict the future is create it. And with that, everyone, we'll see you next time. Mwah.